Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. We've seen the movies where they showed or depicted our sons and our daughters being violently taken away from us. That was a curse on the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Black and American Indian Native children also make up a disproportionate number of children identified as victims by Child Protective Services and children waiting to be adopted. According to 2018 data,
Yeah, so this is a typical verse that the Black Hebrew Israelites use in order to try to affirm their position of saying that every black person that came from the transatlantic slave trade are actually Jews, are the real Jews. And so this verse applies to those who came over through the transatlantic slave trade. This is absolutely absurd. For one reason that it's absurd is because this is clear indication of eisegesis. This is when people add to the text and they remove a text from its immediate context in order to fit in or to impose their presuppositions onto the text. This verse is for the Jews that are in context. This doesn't reach all the way to the 21st century and give a conclusion of a prophecy or a warning verse. That's absurd. This verse is pertaining to the Jews of the time and is giving a warning to them of what would happen to them if they violate God's law. In fact, this did happen. They were sent into to what you call the exile. They were sent into exile for their violations of God's law. So in conclusion, this verse does not fit the Black Hebrew Israelites' position. This verse is no more than another tactic or another way for the Black Hebrew Israelites to try to remove the immediate context of the verse and fit their own presuppositions in. The Black Hebrew Israelites is nothing more than a racist, bigoted cult that views all white people as the devil. Stay away from Black Hebrew Israelites. They are a cult. They are evil, and they need to be refuted with much aggressiveness. And make sure when you do refute them that you are glorifying God in the process. Hopefully this helps. God bless.
All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth, 100% securely. And I'd like to give a salutation to the men out there on the highways and byways teaching this truth, 100% securely. And I also like to give a salutation to the Akim and Aqua who are listening and studying to show thyself approved. All right, so this is just another quick lesson based on this Christian pastor who pretty much don't know what he's talking about. And again, this is just like when you're reading the scripture, but you don't really study. And it just show you that the pastors are even lying, on the Hebrew Israelites, right? So there's three things that stood out in this video. The first one is he's implying that the Hebrew Israelites is no longer under the curses, because when he said that when he tried to break down Deuteronomy 28:32, right, and when he says that only applies to the time and it doesn't apply to the 21st century, as if the Hebrew Israelites is no longer under the curses. Okay, and then there's another thing he said is that the Hebrew Israelites believe that the all white child shall not be saved, or something that he said, right? And when that's a lie, okay. And then he also called us evil, all right. This is the evil cult, okay, and just showing you that he want Edomites to be saved. And here it is, Esau, Edom, so-called white man, is being exposed for all manner of wickedness, man. You got these devils over here trying to block out the sun. Okay, you got proof that these devils is poisoning our food. It's all kinds of things that these devils are doing, Esau Edom, so-called white man, and you got the nerve to call the Hebrew Israelite movement evil, okay? But real quick, let's get this Isaiah 8 and 20, okay? Because he said a lot of things that just definitely just not according to the scriptures, man. It's Isaiah 8 and 20, and it says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Okay, and this guy, he ain't got it. You know, he ain't got the 100% truth. He don't have that light. All right, and the fact that he's still calling us black. All right, and that's another thing. He clearly shows that this guy is on Esau's side. You know, he could very well be a terror. Okay, you know, the seed of the evil one. All right, and so addressing that part where he says, you know, one of the first things what he said, he was trying to say that we're no longer under the curse. Basically, in what the way he broke down Deuteronomy 28 and 32, he's just saying that applied to the Israelites at the time, as if there is no human trafficking. Okay, because when you read that Deuteronomy 28, 32, which we'll go ahead and read that again. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32, and it says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Okay? And it says, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no more might in thy hand. Okay? And so when you break this precept down and say, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, right here it's telling you, matter of fact, when you read in the scriptures, in the very same curses, I think it's Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, so jumping down real quick, I'm going to come back to that 32, Deuteronomy 28, 32, right? So Deuteronomy 28 and 46, it says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Okay? And so when he said that it applied at the time, right here it clearly said forever. So, and that forever meaning that Yahweh Yahushua is going to keep the curses onto the Hebrew Israelite until he redeem his people, which is going back into Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Okay, and so when he said at the time, basically he's not speaking according to the scriptures. The Hebrew Israelites is still under the curses till this very same day. So these curses still apply to this day. Okay, and so when you read verse 46, and it says, reading that again, it says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign. Okay, so these curses is letting you know who the Hebrew Israelites are. Okay, all right, so going back to Deuteronomy 28 and 32, and it said, thy son and thy daughter shall be given unto another people, meaning that when you have a child, your child is given unto another people, meaning that another people is going to own your child. Now, if you actually go to an Elder Apostle Gabar page, he actually have a lesson going into thy son and thy daughter given unto another people, going into the scam that these devils set up with the birth certificate. Okay, and into actuality, you really don't own your child or your son through the birth certificate. All right, that's another form of slavery. Okay, another form of captivity. Okay, you got the jailhouse that these damn devils can set up. Right. You got the human trafficking, they're trafficking organs, all of these things that you devils are doing, all right? And then this bug out Jake got the nerve to call the Hebrew Israelite the evil coat, okay? As a matter of fact, when you go into that word evil, we get that quick definition of the meaning evil, right? And it says profoundly immoral and wicked, all right? Profound immorality and wickedness, especially when regarded to a supernatural force. Okay, and so this is what he implying that the Hebrew Israelites are. We are immoral and wicked. Okay, and that's pretty much, and we know for a fact that's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, and so going back into the Deuteronomy 28 and 32, right? Because it says, thy son and thy daughter should be given to another people. We break that down, human trafficking, the jailhouse, okay, the abortion, no, Salaki, not the abortion, but the child protective service, just like the beginning of the video it said. Okay, they're taking your child. Okay, that's still happening to this day. All right, and it says, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. And right here, when it says there shall be no might in thy hand, okay, get a quick definition of might real quick, because it said thou shalt have no might in thy hand. Okay, let's get the correct definition. All right, the might, and it says great and impressive power or strength, especially of nation, large organization, or natural force. Okay, and that's basically what it's talking about. The whole nation of Israel is not going to have great and impressive power or strength, especially of a nation, large organization. Basically, we don't have no organization that's going to back us. Okay, going into the army, we don't have no army behind us. All right. So that's just further proving that we're still under the curses. Okay. And so what this bug out was pretty much trying to say is that the Hebrew Israelite at that time, okay, it doesn't apply to the 21st century. It's showing you that he have no light in him. All right. And then another thing what he says, let's go back into some little bit more of what he was saying.
As victims by child protective services and children waiting.
Saying that every black person that came from the trans absolutely absurd. For one reason that it's absurd is because this is clear indication of eisegesis. This is when people add to the text and they remove their presuppositions onto the text. This verse is for the Jews that are in context. This doesn't reach all the way to the 21st century.
Was we broke that down? We still under the curses, okay? We're still dealing with the same thing that's in the curses now, all right?
And give a conclusion of a prophecy or a warning verse. That's absurd. This verse is pertaining to the Jews of the time, and it's giving a warning to them of what will happen to them if they violate God's law. In fact, this did happen. They were sent into to what you call the exile. They were sent.
Right, and so the Hebrew Israelites been exiled from their land. All right, going back into the land of Israel. We are exiled from that land, and the Lord said he's going to bring us back into that land.
To exile for their violations of God's law. So in conclusion, this verse does not fit the black Hebrew Israelites' position. This verse is no more than another tactic or another way for the black Hebrew Israelites to try to remove the immediate context of the verse and fit their own presuppositions in. The black Hebrew Israelites is nothing more than a racist, bigoted cult that views all white people as the devil.
Okay, that's what he said. We view all white people as the devil, and that's a lie. He basically slandered us. Okay, and that's one thing that the Lord hates right there. Okay, what did it say? Real quick, it says 16. The Lord hate. We'll get that real quick. Which is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6. All right. Right. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16. It says, These 16 doeth the Lord Yahweh Shai hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue. Okay, so you just lied right there, man. Ain't no, we don't especially us at Great Millstone, I'm a affiliate camp, we affiliate, we follow Great Millstone, okay? We don't teach that, okay? We don't teach that all white people are the devil, okay? Because we know for a fact, due to the scriptures, that the Hebrew Israelites were scattered, okay? Because you read that. All right, so I'm going to finish this precept of Proverbs 16 17 again from the top, it said a proud look, a lying tongue, and a hand that sheds innocent blood. And it says, and a heart that divides wicked imagination, feet that swift, that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speak lies, and him that soweth discord among brethren. Okay, and see, and so those are the 16 that the Lord Yahweh Shai hates, man. You basically just lied. Basically, you lied and said that we believe that all whites are the all white people are the devil, and we know according to the scriptures, going back into Deuteronomy 28, and was that 64. Okay, we go through these scriptures all the time. So, and it's just crazy because they be listening, but they pick and choose, and when they make their video and they try to slander the Hebrew Israelites, man, that's exactly what he did. That was a straight slander what he did. Okay, so Deuteronomy 28 and 64, and it says, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people. Okay, and so we know for a fact that the Hebrew Israelite, there are Hebrew Israelites among every nation, okay? Due to this curse right here, okay? And it said, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, okay? And so there's going to be some Hebrew Israelites that are going to look like the so-called white man. There are going to be some that look like the so-called Chinese man. There are going to be some that look like the African man, the Indian man, the ones with the one dot, okay, the one dot Indians, all right, okay, those the Israelites are scattered, okay, so no way we're saying that all white people are the devil, okay. We got some that look like the so-called black, they the devil, okay. They go back to the seed line of Edomites, all right. So that's when we say so-called white are the biblical Hebrew Israelite. We're not in no way saying that all of them are Edomites. All whites are Edomites, and just the same thing, vice versa, with the so-called blacks. Okay, not every so-called black, Latino, Native American are the Hebrew Israelites. Some of them are terrorists. Okay, some of them go back to the seed line of Edomite. Okay, because when you go to that's another thing when you mention the transatlantic slave trade. They'll never mention the fact that the damn devil, who he's trying to protect, first and foremost, that they went and raped these women, some of our Israelite women at the time when they were slaves, and they made babies with them. Okay, now if they had a son and that son went off and made another baby with another Hebrew Israelite woman, that child is a Edomite, okay? Point blank, period. So there's some dark-skinned Edomites, all right? So this is why when you go to John 7 and 24, let's get that. Okay, so that's why you have to use the scripture to determine whether these people are Hebrew Israelites. It's all through the Spirit. John 7 and 24, and it said hold on. Oh, no, they said somehow it led me to John 14, Salakia. John 7 and 24. Okay, and it says, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Okay, so we're not looking at the somebody's skin color to say, hey, since you're black, you're a so-called Hebrew Israelite. No, that's not true, man. That's why he said judge righteous judgment. Okay, so you're gonna judge whether that person is of Yahweh Shai, man. 1 John 4:1, when it said, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit. Okay, whether they are of the faith, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Loosely paraphrasing, right? So when it says try the spirit, it means to scrutinize that individual. You have to scrutinize individuals. You got to vet them to see whether that person is genuine and they really care about the ways of Yahweh Shai. They really care about repenting. That's the whole point of this gospel. Okay? And so, I've been kind of checking this guy's page out and just showing you that, this guy really ain't got no light in him. He ain't got the juice. He ain't got it. Okay? because he even got another video saying that there is no more prophet. All right. And so basically saying there's no prophet, and he's saying there's no more prophecies, all right, but indicating that the prophecies are being fulfilled already. And this is a bald-faced lie, man. Okay.
Stay away from the Black Hebrew Israelites. They are an evil cult. They are evil, and they need to be refuted with much aggressiveness. And make sure when you do refute them that.
Okay, so the fact that he said they're an evil cult, all right, so we already broke down the definition. The only people that's evil is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, right? They are evil, okay? They, they're trying to block the sun, okay? They're trying to keep this wickedness going on. They responsible for passing the very law, because this guy's a big hypocrite, man. I'm just going through most of his page, a lot of his videos that he went up, because he clearly he's against the LGB. He's against that movement, okay? But he ain't saying nothing to the very same people that passed the law to allow the same sex marriage. Okay, this just showing you that you're a hypocrite, man. All right, but this is Matthew, chapter 24. It'll probably be at the 7th verse. Right, so this is Matthew 24 and verse 9, okay? Because this is the words of Yahushua himself, okay? Because it said, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake, okay? And the fact that he put that message out calling the Hebrew Israelite hate group, okay, with racist and bigoted, okay, and so on and so forth. He putting that stigma out there to let us know that he's gonna be the part of the reason why I ain't gonna select you. Because how about you outside say that things are gonna happen anyway? We're going to be persecuted for the name of How about you outside, and we welcome it. I welcome it. Okay, but just know that this individual right here, he's gonna be the reason why he's gonna give up, especially the people in his congregation as well too. He's gonna give those he's gonna be at the forefront. I can see him being at the forefront of trying to get the Hebrew Israelites persecuted, man. Okay, so this Matthew 24:9, it said, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Okay, so we're going to be hated, as it's shown in this here lately. A lot of people been making videos against the Hebrew Israelites. They're showing that hatred towards us. Okay, and all we doing is preaching the gospel. Okay, that's all we're doing is preaching the gospel, man. So this is just a quick lesson, man, and pretty much just giving out that, just a lesson and just putting it out there, man. Like these guys, they don't have it. All right, they don't have the truth. All they can do is make videos just so they can stay relevant. Okay, so that's just pretty much the point, man. I didn't want to make this too long. Okay, so matter of fact, let's get one more precept. It says Sirach chapter 2. We bring this out all the time, okay? Because this is him making videos like this, and it just shows that we're going to be afflicted, and this video is putting in the mind that we are a hate group. Okay, a lot of people believe us to be a hate group. Okay, even at this Highway and Hedges we had, it actually made me think of these two Jake that was gonna walk. They was actually walking on the same street, but when they saw us preaching the word, instead of them walking past us, they went right across the street. Saying just to avoid us all together. Okay, showing you that that stigma is already out there. All right, so I mean, we expect it, man. We gonna keep pushing this gospel, man. All right, so until Yahweh come redeem us. All right, matter of fact. Before I read that Sirach, the 2nd chapter, all right, because when it says, because he did mention, Hebrew Israelites was in exile, and this is the scripture for that. Deuteronomy 28, we jump out of verse 68, okay? All right, because it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, which is going into bondage, all right, with a swift ship by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. So they're talking about that it no more, talking about the land of Israel, the homeland of the Hebrew Israelites. That's their exile. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. Okay, that's captivity. And no man shall buy you. And that word for buy you is redeem. All right. And so only Yahweh, and so that's proving that we're still going to be under the curses even to this very same day. All right. And Yahweh Shah is going to come back and he's going to redeem us, okay, out of this captivity. Okay, so we ended off with Shabbat, okay, because this is the process we have to go through. You know, as the scripture said, through much tribulation, we shall enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'atim Yahushua. This is what we're waiting on. Okay, we're waiting on Jacob's trouble. Okay, the fact that this guy put that message out. All right, he put the message out saying that we're a hate cult. All right, that's gonna spark Jacob's trouble. They're gonna spark certain individuals that's gonna try to persecute us for the name of Yahweh Ba'atim Yahushua, for the name of for Yahweh Ba'atim Yahushua's name's sake. All right, okay, we're calling on Yahweh Shah to come get us out of there. Okay, so this is Ecclesiastes, aka Sirach, chapter 2, and we start in verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, Yahweh Ba'atim Yahushua, prepare thy soul for temptation. So we got to prepare ourselves for individuals like this, because he's definitely going to deliver us up, okay? Him, the people in his congregation, because mostly when I looked at the comments of a lot of his videos, he had a bunch of Edomites in his congregation. So this is why he's, you know, trying to protect Esau, okay? You know, he in his mind, he think Esau can be saved. He think the Edomites are the Gentiles that are spoken about in the scriptures, okay? Verse 2, and it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. All right, and in verse 3, and it says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Okay? And it said in verse 5, and it said, for gold is tried in the fire, an acceptable man in the furnace of adversity. Okay? So these are the adversity we're going to go through. You know, we're going to all have our own journey, but we definitely going to go through that adversity. Okay? So ultimately, it's all going to lead to the MOTB. Okay? Everybody's going to be tried with that MOTB. And so, you know, yeah, man, that's pretty much the point right there, man. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Makakadas. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth 100% securely. Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yashavala, Shalom.